I just had to do a spontaneous video. I'm really glad the store is really close to where I live. I really need to get to the store to get some staples and some dog food. It was already starting to get pretty windy and snowy, so I was a little nervous. Trying to decipher here if there's anything that I can responsibly buy for myself just as a small treat. I'm not sure if there is or not. Whoa, it looks like someone didn't quite wait for Easter. This will work. I was walking out to the car that I really started to notice the wind picking up, and I was glad that I left when I did, anxious to get back home. Oh, it snowed. Oh my goodness, it just snowed so much in just a short time. I am editing and working on the South Dakota Part 2 video. My life has become so regimented, and that's fine. I'm not complaining. It's what is necessary right now to hold this job. I have to be pretty disciplined with myself and set a pretty strict routine, but I just feel like I'm almost becoming like a drone. I have my schedule and I don't regret it. It makes this possible. But I'm just like, I need to go crazy. Like, I started like singing this song and that, like, I was like, I need to do blah. Anyway, I'm not gonna sing it, but the dodo bird, yeah. And I think that there is that balance. I don't regret, like, I don't regret like the decisions I made about living in my car. But I wouldn't necessarily do them again. I don't know if I can say that, but I'm sure we could all say, oh, we would do things differently. But I have learned a lot, so I don't want to go back and say, oh, I wouldn't do that. But I think that there is this point of finding a certain kind of balance. And I really want to thank you guys, by the way, for voting in the poll. I'm still kind of grappling with what I want to do with that, with my name title. I think sometimes I feel a little bit, maybe I'm feeling a little bit confined to Car Camper Claire just because I'm not actually in my car right now, and then I'm like, oh, am I misleading people? But I mean, I don't think I really am. But I do want to like open up kind of the avenue, so to speak, because I am finding that, well, this job I'm doing now, I wouldn't want to do it forever, and it probably does not match like my skill sets very well. And it is kind of challenging for me because it's like very detail oriented and has to do with numbers. But it's working out for right now. And this is a really good opportunity for me because I'm able to use this opportunity to try and research other ways to live more successfully in my car, or maybe some point in a van or something like that. Because I think you can tell from my previous videos, if you ever watched them, that what I was doing before, it just didn't work out. Like, the selling physical goods was not compatible with living in a car. It was not working. And even though I still do some DoorDash, I don't really consider this a safe long-term solution because, to be honest, in the unhoused community where, I spent a little time, it just seems like I heard story after story. I was an Uber Eats driver. I was a DoorDash driver. And I'm not saying that this is going to happen to everyone who has these rideshare gigs by any means. But when you are living in your vehicle, and it does put you at a certain risk. I'm not saying it's not impossible. I think that, if you have a backup plan, you always have money to rent a car. If you have multiple vehicles, I think there's always like an option, but it really put me in a fragile position. And even though I didn't ever have a wreck or anything, I do want to be careful with that. So this time has been really beneficial. I've been researching other business options in a similar vein of selling, but not necessarily like physical goods, more like digital stuff. I'm looking into some different options and some other options that I'm still like researching. It's still very nascent as I'm trying to figure it all out. But I feel like this is proving to be a very beneficial time for me. This job right now, it caters to the nomad community. So it's been so nice to actually get to meet some people. I haven't spent like a lot of time with people, but even just like my mentor at work, we all have a mentor. And yeah, she's been in the same boat. Like she's had her engine blown, and it's like, I'm really sorry that happened to her. But it's kind of like, okay, I'm not crazy. I'm not the only one who's doing this. So I really am sort of thinking like, okay, well, this is the whole world out here. This whole like nomad, like what, hey, sweetie, what kind of what kind of resources could I help provide people? Because I found out about this job through YouTube. And so it makes me really excited to think about just all the great networking. And there's actually another work opportunity that could come up, and it's in September. And we'll see how I do at this job. I mean, all things being equal, I would just assume, stay at the job and, work on my credit card debt. And, all things being equal, I would just do that. But I mean, if it just gets to be where I'm just like, I might look into this other option too. So it is pretty exciting to look into these things. Yeah, so I was just like, okay, I want to do a vlog. This is not in place of my weekly video. This is just kind of an add-on. Just need to do something that's not so scripted. I feel like all week everything is scripted, from the time I get up to what I do when I get home, and it's so scripted. So I just thought I wanted to take this opportunity to kind of dive into just how I'm feeling, what's going on, and just do something like a spontaneous vlog, kind of like the old days. I did want to talk a little bit about kind of how I'm feeling being, I guess, housed after living in a car. And I have to admit, there are some very nice, like, I mean, I think that it is really nice. I have to admit, there's nothing like, I don't think it would be easy for me to have the job I have now. Well, I know it would be impossible with a dog, but even aside from that, I don't think it would be very easy to go do the job I do, which, I mean, it's not a very hard job. It's not hard physically, but like mentally, it can be pretty draining. It's not something that's like comes naturally to my skill set. And I come home and maybe it'll get better. I'm still in training. So, but I just have like a lot of like mental fatigue when I get home, and I can't imagine like leaving work and trying to think about where I'm gonna park and do all that stuff. So as far as like what I'm doing now, it really is like my favorite time of the day is coming home. It's coming home to Parker. That's just like the best time of the day. I just love it. And having a place to come back to really makes that possible. Now, I don't want to get too comfortable because I mean, this is a good job and it's working out for right now. It doesn't really match my skill set. Numbers are not my thing. I have very slight dyslexia. It's not really bad, but it's very mild. And sometimes it does slow me down a little bit and cause a little bit of anxiety. It hasn't been too much of an issue so far, but it's not really my natural, like dealing with like numbers and very like in detail stuff. It's not my natural skill set. In my downtime, I have been enjoying some vlogs from fellow car campers, car lifers, van lifers, RVers, and I do enjoy watching those videos, and I do feel a little bit jealous sometimes. But then it's like when I watch the breakdown videos, I don't feel as jealous because that's something that I do not miss. It is so nice to not have like, it's nice to have like a fallback. It's like, okay, I have a place and I have a car. So it's like if my car breaks down, it's not, I mean, it would be awful, but it's not like the end of the world. There's even like a shuttle that goes to the job. So keeping in mind that this is not a permanent job, this is literally a temp job. So I am kind of like cognizant about becoming too comfortable. I don't want to kind of backslide into, and I'm not saying that like moving out of your car is backsliding. I'm not in any way saying that, but I just don't want to get into a thing where I'm like, just get scared. I'm scared of going out in my car again, or I'm scared of this or scared of that because of things that have happened in the past. So I don't want to go down that road per se, but I am enjoying the comforts. I mean, I think the weather might have something to do with it. As you can see, it's like basically white out. I was just outside with Parker, and it's basically like white out. The conditions are really deteriorating, and this is just one day, and it's really cold here. And so I think that sort of the weather also helps contribute to that loveliness of coming in from the cold, and it sort of makes the hotel dwelling, apartment dwelling, whatever, even more appealing because you are coming in literally from the cold into a warm, cozy space. And like I said, coming home to my dog at the end of the day, it's great. It kind of scares me a little bit. I'm like, no, don't get too comfortable. Don't get too comfortable. But I do know that I want to bring balance to this whole thing. And if when I go back in my car, there's gonna need to be more of a plan than there was before. It's got to be mixed with different hubs. Maybe work hubs, like this part of the country has these jobs where I know that there's a good chance that they're accessible to me certain time of the year. This hub over here has certain jobs, family here, and sort of make this more of a choreographed, so to speak, deal where it's not just like this aimless thing of just doing DoorDash in different cities. I mean, that could play into it, but there's gonna have to be a little bit more of a game plan going forward. And I mean, I think it would be really cool at some point, maybe even to get a van. I'm going like way into the future here, but like to get like a van or something. I mean, like a real proper van to live out of. But I feel like before I would even think about that, well, okay, I'm already thinking about it, but like seriously pursue that, even be financially able to, I really would have to be able to support myself outside of DoorDash or trying to sell goods or trying to do what I'm doing now. Because right now, what I've accomplished is like surveys, DoorDash, seasonal work, and that's great. But there needs to be more. And that's where some of these businesses I'm looking into, some of these ideas would be compatible with something like living in a van. Again, I sound like a broken record, but doing DoorDash, it's not going to be compatible, with a cargo van because you're just going to lose money basically. And selling goods, what I was trying to do in my minivan, it's not going to be compatible because it's chaos. I can't go back down that road. So I feel like I'm repeating myself, but I feel like this time is giving me that opportunity to reflect on the future and try and build a little bit. It is a little bit frustrating because once I get on these thoughts, I'm like, I want to spend time thinking about it, but I don't because I'm working 40 plus hours a week, and then the weekends I'm just pretty drained, to be honest. But I'm hoping that this is not running, it's not a sprint, but this is more like a race, like a marathon, and that I can gradually gain ground and leave from this position in a stronger place than when I came into it. So that's my hope. Thank you so much for watching. Keep watching. There's going to be some more snow footage. It's quite funny. And by the way, Parker loves the snow. Yeah, he looks up. And I don't have a sweater on him because if you guys have any ideas for this, but like I try jackets and sweaters every time he pees on them, and it's just a bit of a chore. And he seems pretty content out in the snow. We're not out that long. He seems happy. So I'm just going to let him go out in his birthday suit. Well, it's not his total birthday suit because he has his harness. But anyway, he's fine. Thanks for watching, guys.